All right, hello and welcome. I had something planned, but hello and welcome to the post-grad year. Today we're going to be talking about the Commonplace Book. And there goes my note. So this is a mess. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going through the binder, this thingamabob, which had, a few little notes in it for me to look at, but one of them fell, and that's the one that's actually important. So we're just gonna keep going, and I'll hopefully edit out the little bits that don't work. So what we're going to be looking at today is Commonplace Book. Change your life. It's magic. It'll change your life. Or at least the data related to it will supposedly change your life. I don't know about that, but let's get into it. So what we're looking at is on this page. And this page. Now, if you needed to pause during that, I don't really blame you, although I'm going to mention the things now. So, Commonplace Book, Change Your Life. The subfolders were why, keep, how, start, need, other languages, and other. So for other languages, that's just, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Arabic, whatever else. But I put them all in one category because I don't always understand what's happening. But we're going to read through from the top, we're going to go down, and then I'm going to talk about each individual thing. So there were originally 22 items. But out of this note, so now 23, that's because I do this digitally, because if you're looking at thumbnails, you're probably not printing them out and then looking at them on paper. Doesn't make much sense. So deleting the least viewed thumbnail and explaining why will bring the number of thumbnails down to 21. That's more like the items in the folder. Deleted 453. Due to it being last. Yeah, I'm not really surprised it was last. 453 out of 700. We don't want to look at that. And the reason I got rid of it is it has an old person or scammer feel. But if you're an old person or a scammer, not saying you are both of them, I'm just saying that sometimes I can't tell the difference on YouTube. Like, for example, if it's a finance channel or a mainstream media outlet and people are talking about finances in the video and below, I genuinely cannot tell who's a bot and who's a human because the people have the same profile pictures and they type in the same way, they talk about the same things, and most of the things seem outdated or just not true. So I genuinely can't tell. But this video kind of looked like that, or at least that's what my note says it was kind of like. Old person or scammer feel, plus 2 heads on opposite corners, along with a ton of text in different colors for no reason, and then people look down to find that it's 37 minutes long. It doesn't even have that many views. Yeah, nobody's gonna watch that. Like, if it's an old video and people see that, they're gonna look at it and they're gonna be like, I don't know, might not be up to date, but also when it has no views, it's like, okay, I really don't want to watch that. And then if you also see it, it's like more than 15 minutes long. Dude. No, there's no way. So I don't think that video is going to do better. It might now that I'm talking about it. Not trying to hate on the video specifically. Remember, it did better than other videos, including one of mine, as mine did, got the last spot. But yeah, 37 minutes long if we don't know the people and we don't know what they're talking about. And they're not even centered in the frame properly. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. But after being toxic, now we're going to move on to the subfolders. Which I already mentioned, like why, keep, how, start, those things. Okay, so first one, why. So Commonplace Book, Change Your Life, why. Or, why change your life with a commonplace book? That's just me rearranging the words because the word why belongs in Commonplace Book, Change Your Life, but we don't know where it belongs, and sometimes it moves around or it's in different locations. Now, this section only has 22 items, which means I didn't put many things into it, which means it was a somewhat rare category in the first place. So the first place thing of why, while valuable, is not as valuable as if I had a section with 50 items in it and something placed first. Because if something placed first out of 50, that's pretty solid. If it places, first out of 22, nice. But it's not like, earth-shattering. Yeah, so later on, I'm going to try and, sort everything into fewer categories at the same time, as that way I should be able to maximize the number of items, which is going to be a lot more work for me, because it's basically going to be like doubling. Like if I go from 10 to 5, for example, I'm going to have to do a lot more work, which is okay. It's just a lot more sorting, and that'll be kind of a headache. But, if that's what people want to see, if that's what works, if that gives better results anyway, I might as well do it. So we still haven't talked about the thing. It's 7 minutes and I haven't mentioned the data. Okay. Why? 4 items, thumbnail, person far away from the camera, not taking up much space. Very easy to read text. Okay, so I guess the person was just... in the background. I'm not sure what they were doing. Very easy to read text. So I assume that was just like, hello, on the middle of the screen. No, not hello. It would probably say something useful like, why? But yeah, we're going to move on to the next one because that wasn't really helpful. Although it did have 4 items. So remember, out of 22 items, it was first and it had 4. So if it's Commonplace Book, Change Your Life, the thing people want to know is why. Second is keep. This one's a little weird to me because it's like change your life, keep. Keep changing your life? Or is it change your life and keep it the same after you've changed it? I don't know. But anyways, number 2 is keep, and there are 2 items for that. The thumbnail is... when I say the thumbnail is, sometimes that means it's an amalgamation of all the things, and I'm simply saying what seems to work the best. Other times I'm talking about the first thumbnail out of the set. So if there are like 5 thumbnails, I might just pick the first one, or I might talk about all of them generally. But yeah, the thumbnail was limited, easy to read text, and a person reading it. That's about as good as it gets, right? Like, I'm a person, I'm reading text, you see that. Although you can't see the text because it's below, although you can see me, which is like, wah! But yeah, I'm reading off of this. These are my little notes. Well, not notes, but, bookmarks. Yeah, I know, they're all, like, not bookmarks. Number 3, how? 2 items. We've got a thumbnail focusing on words like creativity and Da Vinci. That makes sense. How to change your life. Commonplace Book, How to Change Your Life. Seems pretty solid. And, if it's about being creative, that's a good argument. If it's about being like Da Vinci, kind of weird, a little pretentious, but, also very effective. Could also be how Da Vinci changed his life. You could talk about how a different person changed their life with a Commonplace Book, and then use the prestige of that person's name rather than your own, if you have a really new channel, for example, like me. Or, more realistically, a channel with not that many viewers, actually like me. Then you should be able to use that to coast at least a little bit, theoretically. Remember, I don't get paid for thumbnail advice, at least not yet. My finger wasn't in screen, but I was like, okay. Number 4, or the 4th category, 4th subcategory. This one has 6, and that one is called Start. So for the first 3 combined, there are 8, and then for the 4th, there are 6. So if people don't want to know why, keep, or how, they just want to know how to start, which is great because you don't have to tell them the secrets of the universe. You just have to tell them, like, if you want to know, you should go to the library and read. Or you should ask this other guy. Or have you tried asking your mom? That might be good. But yeah, category 4 is start. and there were 6 items for that, and the thumbnail was look like you or your content have a pulse. Oh no! I think that's still me roasting the thing all the way at the beginning that I deleted. That just looked like 2 dudes who were dead inside. That weren't going to say anything, that were going to talk forever and not provide any value. That is so... I don't want to say accurate, but it's very negative. So, I mean, I guess that makes sense a little bit. Like, if you want to start something, you probably need the energy to start. So, like, if you don't have the energy to actually do something, get some energy. You know, reduce the friction on the way to actually doing the thing. Like, if I want to do my homework and my desk is covered and my floor is covered and my bed is covered and I can't go anywhere, it's just not going to get done. You know, like, I'm not going to hold it up against the wall and do my homework standing up. That'd be awful. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so it might just be about reducing friction, or it could actually be actionable tips to help you or guide you on your magical journey, because this is about changing your life. All right, category number 5, subcategory, is need, which has 1 item. So it's near the bottom, not actually at the bottom. Because there's only 1 item, that might mean anything else with the word need that also had a different word, like why, might have gotten moved to the beginning. This might be the only thumbnail or title that had need in it, which is very possible. So just remember, once we get towards the bottom of this sort of list, it's a little hard to tell what's happening without all the added context. And I'm not going to like take a picture of every individual thumbnail and then start like printing them out and posting them here, because it's already awkward enough that I'm not rehashing other people's content, but I'm talking about other people's content to make more content, which doesn't feel like what I should be doing. It's not really what I want to be doing either. I am curious about what the other people are doing in the same category, and I want to, you know, gain some of the knowledge so that I can apply it to my own titles, and I can actually have titles that people click on, which would be nice, because if they don't click, they're not going to stay, because they're not even here in the first place. Yeah. But anyways, 5 is need, 1 item. It has a thumbnail which says, shows a book on another book. So maybe you need 1 book to understand how to use a Commonplace book, or maybe if you have like a brain dump or something, you can use that, throw all your thoughts in, and then use the Commonplace book as a place to back them up or organize them. It might be that somebody has something small, like field notes, you know, not sponsored. Generally speaking, I'm not going to be sponsored for anything, unless I say specifically, like, I am sponsored for this. But it doesn't make much sense, because I'm basically telling people, put stuff in a binder, work on it, and ta-da, you know, that'll change your life. But really, I want to talk about more like education-related stuff, like how you would put that in school, and I haven't made all the Commonplace diploma videos yet. This might actually be the first time I've mentioned Commonplace diploma on the channel, but I'll make that eventually, okay? It's actually what I want to be doing right now, and it's been 15 minutes, so the monitors are turning off, at least since I, you know, walked over there. Those are my 2 light sources, other than the ceiling light, so I kind of need those. Yeah, I'll get that. Okay, wow, it's really shaking all over the place. The 6th subcategory is other languages. There are 4 items, and the thumbnail shows at least a person, book, or computer, usually 2. So that one's more general, which is very helpful. So if you have a person, a book, or a computer, I guess I could grab my phone, place it on the book. Although, you know, it's a phone, not a computer, so I'd have to put the computer in the back. Anyways, if you have at least 1, usually 2, it does better, which is good to know. I don't really know why the computer would work, although the rules are slightly different depending on which language you're operating in. So, for example, in English, white and black text do the best. But for a Portuguese audience, or probably more specifically a Brazilian audience, you just want to throw random colors everywhere. Like red, yellow, green. Just... I don't know why, but that seems to do better. Or at least it seems at least moderately acceptable. It's just if you do that for like English or American audiences, when it comes to commonplace books, nobody wants to click on that. So just something to keep in mind. Based on the language you're making stuff for, you're probably also going to be making it for people from different countries, and what people want from different countries is not necessarily the same thing. Last category, number 7, other, 2 items. Don't know what those are, don't really care, and video's gone on for long enough, so thank you for sticking with me for more than 15 minutes. This was a bit of a little bit of a rant, a little bit all over the place. I've been avoiding using the section that I have that actually tells me how to make videos, because that has gotten extremely bloated over the course of the last 30, 40 videos, and the last like 90 days or so, because I haven't really been paying attention to it other than every so often throwing something in there, adding a note, and it is the section all the way at the beginning of the binder, which means it will be done next. And by done next, I don't mean like completed, but it will be fixed up at least a little bit and streamlined, and I will hopefully be able to actually do something with it. But right now it's a little bit of an incoherent mess, and it is helpful, because it tells me like brush your teeth or floss before starting a recording session, or make sure that the computer screens are on, or that the air conditioner off, or the fan is off, or have taken a shower in the last few days. Just like all the little details are mentioned, and it says in order what I'm supposed to do. But I have grabbed a bunch of pages and just kind of like shoved them in there. So we'll deal with that another time. That's a future problem for future me. But eventually I will be future me. Oh no. Future me will hopefully deal with the haircut. I have been cutting my own hair since the beginning of the pandemic, which was a very long time ago, and haven't had a lot of extra money. Well, not much at all. So getting a haircut is a little bit costly, and not for anything fancy. It's just like, you got to get to the place and you got to get the haircut. And so if you're like me and you don't drive, or there are other things going on, it's a little expensive to get there and back. So I've just been doing it myself, but looks a little silly. I haven't brushed this though. That was another thing on the list. Brush your hair. I just didn't do it. I figured, could just like play with it a little bit, and then it'll be fine by the time I record. Looks like that. How to be a YouTuber. All right. This really is the end of the video. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. If you want to watch the next one, there are some other videos which might be more interesting. The one that people seem to watch is Commonplace Book Binder. Just saying. That one might be good. That one might make more sense. That one might change your life. Probably not. Okay. There's the button.